Hey, it's Patrick Cuneta. I hope you're having a great day. In this video, I'm talking about why I completely stopped delivery driving. Uber Eats, Doordash, Grubhub, Postmates, all of it. And as you might have seen from some of my other videos, I used to deliver these apps as my #1 full-time source of income for about a year and a half. I completed well over 2,000 deliveries across the different apps, so I definitely gained a lot of experience with it. And the year I started driving, I was at a point in my life where I was going to school for something that I wasn't really passionate about. I was working a full-time 9-to-5 job. I was living in an apartment with my roommate, and I had several thousands of dollars in debt, and I was just completely lost in my life. I had no idea where I was going or what I wanted to do with my life. So at that point, I made the decision to move back home with my mom. I was actually living in the garage that year. I quit my 9-to-5 job, and I literally just took that year to try and just figure out my life, to fix my finances, to put my life in the right direction, and just figure out what I wanted to do in my life and really just improve my life and make a better life for myself. So that's when I started delivery driving, and that year I drove basically for over a year and a half. Like I said, I drove full-time every single day I was driving. I drove generally on average, I would say, sometimes it wavered, but I would drive on average like 30 hours a week. I did drive for 40 hours a week for quite a few months too, but I drove about 30 hours a week, and that's also that year that I started making YouTube videos. I uploaded like 300 YouTube videos my first year. So, delivery driving allowed me the time and the flexibility in my schedule to actually be able to make YouTube videos with that amount of effort and that amount of work put into it, which is something that I would not have been able to do at my 9-to-5 job, not nearly as much. So yeah, that's basically my background on how I started delivery driving. That whole year and a half, I was, driving around every single day, doing deliveries, just making money, paying my bills, trying to cut down on my debt and everything, trying to work on my YouTube channel. I was basically just grinding that whole entire year. Now, after that first year or so, I started dealing with some more and more issues around my family and my parents. My parents had got divorced a couple years before that, and basically got to a point where it just was not a good living situation anymore. It was just tons and tons of conflict between my mom and I, and it was just not a really good environment at all for me to live in. And this conflict eventually led my mom to call the police on me and kick me out on the street. I was like really close to being homeless, but luckily my friend let me stay at his place. So that's basically a big event that kind of changed a lot of things in my life around that time. So there I was living with my friend. I was at a point still where I wasn't financially in a good spot at all. That whole year I was making a lot of progress paying off my debt and reducing my bills and stuff like that, but I was nowhere close to where I needed to be. But shortly after that, we ended up getting a new place, which required a deposit and a bunch of other expenses and stuff like that. My monthly expenses went up a whole bunch as well, and I started having more and more problems with my car. So I was in a pretty tough situation with everything that was going on in my life in general. And even though I was delivery driving every single day through all that stuff I was dealing with, in the end, it ended up not being enough income for me to fix my life and fix my situation. Like I said, I was still thousands of dollars in debt. My expenses were ridiculously high. My car had more and more problems. So I was at a point where I actually had to end up going back to a 9-to-5 job. It was actually pretty much the same job I had in the first place, although it was at a different company. But I went back to the 9-to-5 job, the same sales job I had before. So I did already know how to do it, which was kind of cool, but still I had to go back to the 9-to-5, which I wasn't super happy about, but it was just something that I just had to do in my life. Because like I said, just delivery driving with all the gas expenses and everything else, at the end of the day, like I said, it just was not enough to get me where I needed to go in my life. So I worked at that sales job for about 6 months, ended up being a very negative experience as well, just like in the first place. And from being in that crappy situation, it pushed me to actually look for a better job, and I ended up getting a better job in tech support working from home. And this caused my income to basically double just by getting that better job. And obviously from working a full-time job again and still trying to maintain my YouTube channel and just other areas of my life, I just didn't have time to continue delivery driving. Sometimes I would still do it every now and then on my days off or after work or something like that if I needed some extra money. But overall, working over 40 hours a week, it just didn't make sense for me to continue delivery driving at that point. And then, like I said, I ended up at this great job where I'm working from home. It's a pretty chill job. It's much less stressful than my sales job that I had before. So I'm just at a point in my life where it just doesn't really make sense for me to delivery drive. You know, with the whole coronavirus thing as well, it just makes it easy for me to kind of just hang out at my house every day and make a lot of money doing that. And yeah, I'm in a pretty good situation now. I'm at a point where I worked in this new job for over a year. I paid off completely all my debt. I have absolutely zero financial stress. My car is working great. Like, everything else in my life is improving so much. I'm just at a point where it just doesn't really make much sense for me to delivery drive anymore. But yeah, those are basically the series of events that led up to me quitting delivery driving, kind of just stopping on there. It's kind of cool because you don't have to quit or anything. You just kind of stop going online. That's pretty much all there is to it. But guys, one extremely important thing I want to add to this video is working 9 to 5. Yeah, you can make more money potentially, especially with a higher paying 9 to 5. But I will say that time when I was delivery driving, I felt so free. I felt so happy just driving around every day. I was exploring the city around me, exploring nearby cities. I was just outside in the fresh air and just, you know, driving around in my car. I completely made my own schedule. I drove whenever I wanted to drive. I would drive around listening to audiobooks, which was fantastic, or just blasting music all day, just having a good time. Those summer days were super nice, just wearing shorts, you know, just driving around, dropping off food and everything. And it was a great year. Like I said, compared to working in a 9 to 5 job, sitting inside a store all day, or sitting at a computer all day, like I said, the money can be better, but in terms of like the actual, you know, quality of life and my actual fulfillment, like I said, I felt really free that year. And that's something that I have not felt that level of freedom in my adult life since driving Uber Eats and all those other delivery apps. So that is one important thing I wanted to add to the video, guys. Sometimes it's not all about money. Sometimes it's about, you know, improving your life. Sometimes it's about making changes to your life. And sometimes it's about just having a better quality of life. So I don't mean to discourage anybody from delivery driving at all from this video. I just kind of wanted to share my experience, especially because a lot of my viewers have came from my Uber Eats and delivery driving videos that I made in the past. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Just wanted to give you a little story on, you know, kind of how I started delivery driving and why I stopped. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And even though I don't drive anymore, I still do want to make videos that can help you guys in other ways, like personal finance or just improving your life in general, because, you know, one of my main slogans on my channel is join me on the journey to success and happiness, and that's exactly where we're going. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts in the comments. Check out the description. And if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. Got plenty more coming soon. Your mind is much more powerful than you think. Have a great day.